The history of Drew McIntyre. What if we combined anger problems with a Scottish descendant and a failed career as rock star?
The sexy Scotsman, Drew McIntyre.
Drew accomplished nothing. He got lost on the way, even having the power of the greatest villain. He had trouble taking life seriously. Luckily, changed for good, but before he had to go through bad times. This is the story of Drew McIntyre, the chosen one. His history begins in FCW, the wrestling development area, where after many times, Drew won the maximum championship of this company, the heavyweight championship, calling the attention of Vince McMahon. Drew debuting on SmackDown in August 29.
A future world heavyweight champion.
Drew was programmed to attack many fighters who are against Vince's plans, and he showed it, taking to R-Truth and others. Vince put his chosen one on the list of contenders for the Continental title, fight against John Morrison, who committed the terrible mistake of mock the Scottish inheritance, an epic battle. Then ended with the victory of the Scottish, keeping the Continental Championship for 181 days. But he lost his streak with Kane, the Red Demon, in February 26, 2010, and the opportunity from participate in Money in the Bank. But it didn't end there. Vince cancelled the results of that event and gave him one more opportunity to participate in Money in the Bank, then wasted against Matt Hardy. But don't care because Vince gave him another opportunity for classified, fighting against an unknown fighter, ended with the victory of Drew having a chance to be Mr. Money in the Bank, then also lost. Yeah, so sad. The general manager already hated and looked for a way to end with him, invoking his best card.
Tonight, you will go one-on-one with The Undertaker!
¡Ah, imposible!
The Undertaker!
¡Manifiéstate!
Drew lost his streak against Undertaker. He lost with who is the weakest fighter, Santino Marella, and lose his Continental Championship with Kofi Kingston. While trying to be accepted and be a better person, someone comes into her life. A beautiful woman came. Kelly was in trouble and was rescued by McIntyre, who couldn't help but fall in love with her. Drew McIntyre and Kelly did not fall in love because Kelly was smart and knew about Drew's temperament problem, so he turned it down.
I don't want to be around someone that takes pleasure on beating on other people.
This rejection was to drop and split the glass. Here we have the origin of the Scottish psychopath. At this point, it will be sad for the Scottish. Drew participates in the Royal Rumble 30-man event on January 30, 2011, but he lost. Was part of the Elimination Chamber for the World Heavyweight Championship on February 20, 2011, but was eliminated by Kane. Then was sent to Raw because he was still Vince's chosen, but his luck did not change in the red mark. Later he was sent to Superstars, a mark that has no fame, where he won nothing there. He lost absolutely all of his fights. Although we all know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and all the bad things are tests that life put on us, or so I think. He returned to the Blue Mark, where he was determined to rebuild his career and with all his energy. But he lost his debut on SmackDown, and if you thought that Vince would help his chosen one, let me tell you.
You were wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong.
He lost, and lost. He even lost against Santino Marella in a blindfold fight. Teddy Long gave him one last chance to keep his job. He had to defeat Justin Gabriel in a fight, or he would be fired.
If you lose, you're fired.
And lost again. Drew McIntyre was eliminated. Or not. John Laurinaitis, someone with much power than Teddy Long. John would give him one last chance and would rehire him if he defeated the Great Khali, a man 2.5 meters tall, would be his opponent. Everything seemed lost unless Drew still had an angel guardian. Because the fight had a chance and his rival ended up being Hornswoggle, a fighter who suffers from dwarfism. In the end, he took advantage of that last opportunity and won the fight. But the fear of losing in his next fight was so great that he did not want to fight for some title, and to hide his pain he decided to join two other fighters who had not done well, Heath Slater and Jinder Mahal. They three formed a rock group called 3BM. To be honest, they were fun, but that was not the problem. The problem is that they did not know when to shut up, getting into trouble on many occasions. The enemy of 3BM were themselves.
Triple H, shut up and listen up.
They had the opportunity to fight for the Tag Team Championship against Team Hell No, but they lost once more. They were brought back to superstars.
No, they didn't.
Again! One!
And they lost again. The same. Defeat after defeat after defeat, and so on every day. Drew lost against Sin Cara. Roman Reigns beat them up and still suffered a loss against Brock Lesnar. 3BM got a brace that is not worth mentioning. I'll just say it was Hornswoggle who put the last nail in his coffin. It was going very bad. They won almost nothing. The band was not going anywhere. It was time to end it. Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre were automatically fired due to a WWE contract problem.
You're fired!
It looked like the end of Drew McIntyre, or so it seemed until it appeared years later, April 1st, 2017. He looked much stronger with new mentality, with a new weapon up his sleeve. Drew McIntyre has signed with NXT.
Drew McIntyre has signed with NXT.
The renewed Drew McIntyre was the first Scot to win the NXT title, despite being beaten by the New Era. Drew looked stronger, finishing with two of the members of this team soon after. Drew had a new goal and nothing and nobody could stop him. Until Andrade Cien Almas appeared. He not only ended Drew's undefeated streak, also took away the NXT Championship. This defeat was not pleasant for the Scots. The trauma of Superstar returned, and Drew refused to repeat the story, letting out his still visible anger problems. This was taken advantage of by Dolph Ziggler, would help him with his anger problems in exchange if it's Drew being his bodyguard. Ziggler and McIntyre took every opportunity to win the Raw Tag Team Championships. The problem here is that they had Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns behind them for a lot of trouble. The Shield had been reborn, and they wanted to end the Drew and Ziggler alliance. Seth Rollins knew that McIntyre had a strength in the team, and that deep down, he wasn't that aggressive guy anymore.
The talented one, you're the one picking up all the victories. I don't understand.
Drew and Ziggler lost the championship shortly after against Rollins and Ambrose due to the intervention of Braun Strowman. McIntyre's patient was hanging by a thread, and months later everything came to light. Drew against all odds revealed who it was that from the beginning he was taking advantage of Ziggler.
Your role was to get me in a prominent position.
Drew got rid of Ziggler by sending a message to everyone, saying that the Scottish Psycho was completely unleashed.
He knows how sick and twisted I can be.
Drew set himself a new goal, ending with the Shield, finishing first with Dean Ambrose and after with Seth Rollins. This automatically unlocking the fight against the final boss, Roman Reigns, but faced a fight that became more and more personal. But before history repeats itself, Shane McMahon was sent to protect Drew and away from Roman Reigns. Drew McIntyre continued with his path of destruction, although he knew that he should change his attitude and control his temper because he knew that he was counterproductive in his fight. Little by little, he was controlling his emotions and has won the support of the public. Drew stopped, he put aside evil and became a good guy. Drew made it his goal to win back the WWE Championship, a championship that was held by Brock Lesnar. Drew accomplished the unimaginable by disqualifying the invincible Brock Lesnar and then Roman Reigns in the 30-man battle royale, so having championship shoot at WrestleMania. Drew's decision was more than clear, and McIntyre would try to end Lesnar once and for all and thus rescue the WWE Championship. However, the world was in chaos due to a virus, and the WWE had to put its fighters safe, sending them to a place far away and exiled from the world.
Escúchenme todos, denme un poco de su energía.
Thanks to the energy of all, Drew McIntyre managed to end the beast, thus rescuing the WWE Championship on April 5, 2020 as a current championship. Despite the bad times, after many defeats, Drew McIntyre was chosen by the WWE Universe.
I am still the chosen one.